Almighty God, Lord of the universe, grant Eric Silvers, our new president, the wisdom that he may lead with your wisdom and serve with justice and mercy as we move in the 21st century, serving others before self. In the name of the great I am, amen.
That because of your tenacity, because of your stick-to-itness, because you just refuse to take no for an answer, and because you really take your responsibility as a leader very seriously. You are our hero, and I can find a hero in me. Don't you work out. There's a hero. If you look inside of your heart, you don't have to be afraid of who you are. There's an answer if you search within yourself, and the sorrow that you felt will melt away. Then the hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. So when you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you'll finally see the truth that a hero lies in you. It's a long road when you search the world alone. No one reaches out a hand for you to hold. You can find love if you search within yourself, and the emptiness you felt will disappear. Then our hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and we cast our fears aside, and we know we can survive. So when you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong. You'll finally see the truth that a hero lies in you. Lord knows dreams are hard to follow, so don't let anyone tell them away. Oh, and we know we can survive. So when you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong. You'll finally see the truth. A hero lies in you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. A hero lies in you. You never know you are a hero. You're everything we pray will be. Yeah, we can fly higher than an eagle. You as the wind beneath her wings, yeah. You're the wind beneath her
And now I'm introducing Esther Huey and Dave Dion, who will introduce our new president. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for this opportunity to be on this program today. I don't often get emotional, but this is an emotional day for me, so forgive me. Started my emotions with that beautiful soloist. That was just wonderful, and I don't know whether you know the Bradfords have a long legacy of music and music participation, music teaching, music performing, and so forth. And in fact, our honored president today and I and some other community people produced a musical program for 5 years here in Yakima Capitol Theater, Happy Birthday Martin, and those songs were in that. So that brought back memories. I do want to tell you that Eric wouldn't let me sing. He'd say, "You can do anything you want to, Miss Huey, but please, don't try to sing." But I'll have you know, all of you, that over the years, I've known the Bradford family since 1946. And in all of those years, I have watched 4 generations move through our community and make their contributions to the community. And of course, I've watched Eric since he was about 5 years old, when he and his brother Daryl, Miss Bradford, their grandmother, would have one on one side and one on the other, and they'd be coming to church. They were raised in the church, in the oldest African-American church here in Yakima, Mount Hope Baptist Church on South 3rd Street. And they were faithful. I know that they had their moral education, and much of their integrity and much of the substance in them was born out of that church and out of that experience with their grandmother. And they were very respectful, they were very well raised, and even then, she was teaching them to make a contribution, to serve others, not to serve themselves, but to serve others. And they've all been very faithful to that. And Eric has been faithful to it. They came to Yakima. The Bradford family came to the state of Washington in the late 1890s, but Mrs. Bradford and her husband, David, migrated to Yakima in 1924, where they raised their children. One of those children was Eric's mother, who became very famous and was a musician in her own time. She was one of the most grand pianists that I have ever seen, and she performed music all over the United States, especially in New York. But she did go back to school and get her master's degree in music, and taught at SUNY University in New York. So they have a history, and that history has been always to entertain others, to serve others, to take their place in the community, and Eric has followed in those footsteps. And I'm very proud to say that I don't know if I was a mentor or a mother figure or just exactly what I was in his life, but I tell you, one of my favorite, not my favorite, I don't think it's his favorite either, comments to Eric over the years have been, "Now Eric." Now Eric, stop and think. And he has, he stopped and he stopped. And that's one of the things I like about Eric. If you feel you need to give him some advice, or if he comes to you for some advice, he listens. And if he strays away from it, he gets that, "Now Eric." So I have watched the progression from early childhood to the first African-American music teacher in Yakima, Washington, at Washington Middle School, and then making the decision to make a change from being in the education arena to the private business sector and become our first African-American insurance agent here in Yakima. And I think he's done well, particularly considering that he and Esther just spent 36 days touring Europe. So I think that speaks well for you. Not only does that speak well, his two sons are in the audience, and they are following in his footsteps. They are agents in Seattle. They have their own offices, and I'm sure Father was involved in that. So I would say we're talking about a very successful person, but a person who has, he's successful because of his values. He's successful because of what Yakima has given to him and his experiences. He's successful because of what his parents gave him, and successful because he listened to his elders, and he learned, and he took advantage of every opportunity that was there for him. I am particularly proud to say that I have known him, to say that I'm so happy that I live to see this day. This is a very significant day, and I think for everyone in this audience, it's significant in your own way. Each one of us probably have a special thought and a special feeling about today. And Eric, I just want to say I wish you well. I love you. I hope that this year will be an historical year, but I hope it will just be the beginning of something great in Rotary and something great in our community. I thank you for serving. I think it's a well-earned honor, and I'm happy to introduce to you, ladies and gentlemen, my portion of this introduction, Mr. Eric Silvers, who I love very much, and I will be watching. I hope I will.
Thank you, Esther. Now, Eric. In the summer of 1997, I received a phone call from Carolyn, who said, I just had a gentleman call me. He moved his insurance business from Grandview to Yakima, and he called and said, what do I have to do to join Rotary? Well, we don't get calls like that every day. She said, would you go check this guy out? So I did. I spent a delightful hour with him that day. I found him to be a warm, sincere, kind, compassionate, funny human being. He is today the husband of, for 31 years, his beautiful wife, Esther. Esther, would you please stand? And they too have raised two magnificent sons, EJ, if you'd stand, and Evan, if you'd stand. Forever. Now, the thing that I remembered most about that conversation was when Eric said to me, Dave, I'm serious about wanting to give back to the community that raised me. Well, I took that to heart, and I became his sponsor, a decision I have always, always enjoyed and celebrated. Eric took to Rotary like a duck to water. He immediately started lending his considerable music skills to our weekly programs. He successfully chaired more than 7 different committees, always with class and style and leadership. He has been a leading proponent of and developer of the Black History Month program for our club for the last numerous years. In 2010, he and Esther traveled to Ethiopia, where they dropped the drops of life and gave the polio vaccine to countless children. One of 3 members of our club to have done so, the other 2 being Sony Alexander and Mary Beth Bradley. He served on our board of directors from 2005 to 2008, and back again now for his 2nd term. He has served on the board of the Rotary Trust for 9 years. I think a longevity title for that organization. He has been the consummate Rotary volunteer, always putting service above self. Many will rightfully celebrate Eric today as the first person of color to be the president of the finest Rotary Club in the world. And I'm here to tell you, to borrow from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Eric was chosen not for the color of his skin, but for the content of his character. He is a great Rotarian who will be a great president. I am proud to introduce as our club's 101st president, my friend and my brother, Eric Silvers.
Thank you, Mrs. Huey. Thank you very much. You've known me and supported me all my life. And Past President Dave Dion, my endorser, my mentor, thank you. Past President Doug, fellow Rotarians and guests, this is an honor. I'd like to introduce my special guests that I have here, and they've already kind of been introduced, but I want to do it. Okay. All right. So my wife, 31 years, my travel partner, AKA we travel all over. One suitcase for 36 days. Yeah, our son's EJ Silvers, he's a graduate of the University of Washington. He has a State Farm agency in Renton, Washington. And also we have Evan Silvers, also a graduate of the University of Washington. He has his State Farm agency in Capitol Hill, Seattle. My sister from San Francisco, Sina, I really appreciate you coming. And my big brother, Daryl, from Pemberton, thank you for coming. Team who told me, don't worry about the office during your year of presidency because you're going to make Yakima community a better place through Rotary. And Angie, George, and Teresa, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. So in this day, and the age of realism, real TV, real news, real sports, I want to tell you a real story. A young kid, I would often take the bus for my elderly grandmother to go over and handle her business downtown. And I noticed on several occasions a group of well-dressed professionals entering the building. I asked my grandmother, I said, what are they doing? What are they doing? And she said that was a business organization. And so one day, I looked in the window, and I saw a lot of delicious food. And so I kind of snuck in there so I could be able to have some. But then I started hearing what this organization was doing, and I realized that they'd made a difference not only in our city, but in the community and in the world. And as I matured into being in my personal life as well as in my business life, I wanted to get involved and I wanted to make a difference in my town. So I contacted Yakima Downtown Rotary to be a member of this great organization. Would you think that on that day that I would end up being the president of the centennial year of the Yakima Downtown Rotary Club? I am honored, I am humbled, and I'm excited to have this opportunity. Thank you. You know, I've been blessed with a lot of opportunities, you know, with Yakima Rotary of being a member, but I gotta tell you about two really self-changing, well, I guess really big changing opportunities for me. The first one was going to Ethiopia, and as you can see on the screen there, here I am giving polio drops to a young child that will no longer have to worry about contracting polio. And also knowing that polio will be eradicated in our lifetime on this planet thanks to Rotary. My second life-changing event was going to the Rotary International Conference in Hamburg, Germany, where there was Rotarians that were all over the world serving the community and also their own towns. We were exploring projects that would make a difference also right here in Yakima, as well as also around the whole community, also around the world. So the Rotary International theme this year is Rotary Connects the World. And so if you have not had the opportunity to be able to take part in those similar programs, I would highly encourage you to go to the Rotary International. Next year is going to be in Hawaii. I would encourage you to be able to go and be able to participate in some of these other Rotary projects because they're fantastic. You know, our Rotary Club here is boots on the ground. We don't just write a check and then just give a donation and then call it good. Rotary writing a check is no substitute for community service. You know, recently when I was at the district conference or the large club conference or even the Hamburg conference, the Rotary International, I was asked about the projects that we have completed with our club. Rotarians were very astonished to be able to hear that we have done projects in Guatemala, Ethiopia, Honduras, Mexico, I mean, just to name a few. And we've even have a global grant. We were able to get a global grant to build a hospital in Ethiopia. I think about that, a global grant to build a hospital. We did that. And you know, also, we are the mother club for at least 10 other successful Rotary clubs. I mean, we've done a lot, and we're not done yet. You know, we've done, and we continue to do wonderful things through Rotary, but we must remember to toot our own horn. We keep quiet a lot, and we just do things, but we need to be able to let people know what we're doing. When I say I'm a Rotarian, people know my words and my actions are sincere. I encourage you to wear your lapel pin. I wear my lapel pin proudly. When I walk into a business or to a gathering, people often ask me, you know, what is Rotary? Or they say, what does Rotary do? I am very quick to be able to express my experiences with Rotary. On a personal note, several years ago, my son Evan, he decided that he wanted to create his own University of Washington International Studies to the British Virgin Islands by itself. Needless to say, my wife and I were a little nervous. And so I called past President and past District Governor Darrell Blue, and I asked him if he could put me in touch with the local Rotary office in the British Virgin Islands. All I had to say to them in the British Virgin Islands is that I was a Rotarian and I needed them to watch after my son. There was no hesitate on their part, not one at all. Rotarians in every community are willing to help. Similar story, I was feeling a little frustrated because I had talked to a receptionist at one of the local doctor's office, and they informed me that there was no appointments for several weeks. And as I was turning to leave, the physician happened to be close by, and he heard my voice, and he says, "Is that Eric Silvers, the Rotarian?" And I was seen right then. So my vision for Rotary is to encourage everyone to go out and to communicate to our community what Rotary is and what Rotary does in Yakima. We need to continue to be relevant in this ever-changing community. We need to make sure that we enhance our presence on social media. We need to be back on TV. We need to make sure that our website is up and running and doing quite well. You know, I believe in being an innovative thinker. Thinking outside the box is my belief. You know, if it hasn't been tried, let's go for it. You know, if it doesn't work, we learn and move on. And if it doesn't work, we celebrate. And if it does work, we celebrate. So I believe that we need to also ask critical questions of our speakers, our community members, and also Rotarians, as well as Rotaract, as well as Interact. What do we need to do to be able to help you succeed in your projects? My project year this year is very dear to my heart. I grew up around Washington Park in Southeast Yakima. It is now called Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Park. It's on 8th Street. It was where I learned to swim. It's where I hung out with my friends. It's also, you know, where I went to school. You know, I went out with Ken Wilkinson with Yakima Parks, and we went for a drive to consider different projects of my year. We noted that the Martin Luther King playground was about as small as these two tables right here. And we got a district grant for a playground that will enhance that whole park.
Ooh, yeah.
You know, the city is considering putting a pool there, but I gotta tell you that we will have our own designated public area, and that, you know, that project will not be moved once we put it in there. And you know, if they do get the pool in there, you know, we will not be moved. We will stay right where we are, and we're going to build a fantastic, fantastic playground there. Mm-hmm. Also, we're going to be celebrating our past presidents, as you got to be able to meet some of the past presidents there, but we're going to ask them for 100 seconds of their Rotary year. We'll ask each past president of the Yakima Rotary to present on what are their most fondest memories and what are they most proud of. You know, our membership is down. My goal, speaking with that 100, is to be able to have 100 new members in our centennial year. With everyone participating, we can increase our membership. I want to work hard in promoting diversity so that our club is going to be reflective of our community. Jim Berg, our membership development chair, understands this really well, and him along with Aaron Black on the retention committee, we will get new members and we will retain our current members, but we need all of you to help to be able to make this happen. I'm bringing back the 6th seat over on the end, and that's the greeters table, and we're asking Quinn to be able to highlight that one, and we'll have them to be able to announce the guests at the podium. But when they stand, we need to hear a very hearty here, so that way everybody will know where they are, and also they will know that we honor and appreciate their appearance with us. And so we're going to bring that out and make that very powerful, and so we will be having that to happen. And by the way, if you bring a guest, that counts as a makeup. And who wouldn't need a makeup there, okay? Also, you will notice some writing pens on your table. This is an experiment. You can use these to be able to fill out the forms on your table, but if you know of a person that would make a fine Rotarian just like yourself, please take it and give it to them and give them your best 30-second speech about Rotary, that elevator speech. And our social committee, headed by Sony, as you can tell, that they are jazzed up to be able to do some wonderful things. And also along with Rich Austin, they're going to be doing more social outings. You know, they're doing that survey to be able to find what events that, you know, like wine tours, hikes, Mariners games, Seahawks games, Pippins, Sounders, Blazers. But we want to do more things socially so we can be able to have that fellowship together. Our program committee, headed by President-elect Jennifer and co-chair John Cooper, have done a terrific job of getting dynamic programs this year, you know, for our Rotary meetings. You know, we're scheduled to be in the Yakima Sun Fair Parade on September 21st. We, as of right now, are listed as the Grand Marshal. Why? Because 100 years we have done projects in Yakima, and we have done this in our Yakima community as well. So the parade is viewed by 15,000 people every single year of our community members. So we're going to be in that parade. We have 10 cars for the Rotarians that need it or want to ride. We have one car for every 10 years that we have been in existence. John Ball was able to find a 1919 vehicle, which was the year that our club started in Yakima. So we'll have a 1919, 29, 39, 49, 59, etc. And we'll have that. And then past president and past district governor Greg Luring is going to let us use his bus. And so we will have pictures of different projects on the side of the bus that we have done throughout Yakima. But we need you. We need 100 Rotarians, 100, we need 100 Rotarians dressed in these Rotary shirts, and they're going to be passing out, we're going to be passing out books for literacy, and we're going to be passing out hugs, okay? Those are the two things, books for literacy and hugs, because we want to make sure people know how proud we are to be in Yakima. Our Centennial celebration is going fantastic. Oh my goodness, it's going fantastic. Yakima celebrates Rotary. Rotary celebrates 100 years, making major footprints in Yakima. So on December the 5th, it's a Thursday, we'll have past Rotary International President Richard King to come and speak to our Rotary meeting with all three clubs. And then on that next day, December the 6th, we're going to have three fantastic bands playing in the Yakima Convention Center right here. We're going to have American Honey, a country western band, Bart Roderick and his jazz band, the Joe Brooks Quartet, and from Walla Walla, Gary Winston and The Real Deal, an R&B band, and all playing right here, so you'll be able to move from room to room to be able to catch all three types of music. And the celebration is not a fundraiser. Definitely not a fundraiser. It is a celebration. The ticket prices are $50 per person or $100 a couple, Centennial, $100 for two. Drink tickets, hors d'oeuvres, games. It all starts at 6 o'clock on Friday, a short program from 6:30 to 7, and then after that the bands will play from 7 o'clock until 11. We'll have a lot of guests from throughout the whole district, and also we'll have them from around the state, as well as our sponsoring club from Seattle 4, and they'll be over also to be able to do that. We need to pack this place. We need to pack it with our community members and letting them know how much we appreciate all their support in Yakima and the things that we have done. So make sure that that's on your calendar. You will be hearing more about that in the next coming weeks. But thank you to past District Governor Darrell Blue and the Centennial Committee for all your help with the celebration. But we're going to need each one of you to make this a success. Okay. So in my conclusion, keep in mind the 5 core values of Rotary. 1, service. Service to our city, our community, and our world. Number 2, fellowship. A fun way to be able to make new friends from all around the world, explore hobbies, professions, and enhance your Rotary experience. 3, diversity. Age, race, gender, occupation. Integrity is choosing is choosing comfort versus, let me say it this way, it's choosing courage over comfort. It's also choosing what is right over what is fun, fast, and easy. Choosing to practice our values rather than just simply professing them. And 5, leadership. As leaders of our community, we need to develop new leaders. And Rotary is the vehicle to accomplish this. How I want to lead this powerful organization. L stands for listening. E, encouraging members in our community. A, aspiring to have the best Rotary organization. D, determined to have the best year ever. You know, we're a big club in a small town with big hearts. We're doing big things locally and around the world. We change lives. We change lives. We are people of action. We are people of action. Be proud to be that Rotarian. Be very proud to belong to a well-known, active organization. Help make this Centennial year the best banner year ever. A year not to be forgotten, a year to usher in the next 100 years. Thank you very much. Schedule to do that. Okay, so next week's program, remember the Rotary Family Picnic, 5:30 to 7:30. Please come, and please bring a guest. Please also bring your families. Can't wait to be able to see them all. And remember that next week we have the WSU President, Kurt, and he's going to be here to be able to talk to us right here at the Convention Center. And then we have the following week, we have Sherry Brown that's going to be healings, and she's from the also going to be right here, and I'll try to get a little bit better on these things. So afterwards, Sony, you're going to be meeting with your social after the program is going to be in conference room 1, and World Community Service with Carter Fields. Carter, where are you going to meet at?
Well, right here.
Okay, all right, right there. Okay, once again, thank you very much, and I get to ring the bell. Okay, so watch your knuckles on that, but we are adjourned.